In the next few minutes, you are about to look at classic Mario games in a way you probably never have before, because this video uncovers the strange, funny, and slightly disturbing truths hidden behind retro Mario games. From unsettling theories and bizarre design choices to dark implications that Nintendo never openly explained. So stay until the very end, because what these cheerful pixels secretly suggest about the Mario universe is far more curious, ironic, and unsettling than anyone expected. At first glance, retro Mario games look like pure innocence. Colorful worlds, catchy music, smiling clouds, and a mustached plumber jumping on turtles for reasons no one ever questioned too deeply. But that innocence is exactly what makes the darker details so intriguing. Because when you slow down and actually think about what is happening, the Mario universe starts to feel less like a fairy tale and more like a very strange survival story disguised as fun. Mario is not a knight, not a chosen hero, and not even officially trained for combat. He is a plumber who repeatedly enters hostile kingdoms, destroys local wildlife, breaks bricks that might be someone's home, and collects coins that raise uncomfortable questions about the economy of the Mushroom Kingdom. Because if coins are scattered everywhere, who put them there? And why does Mario have exclusive rights to grab all of them? The enemies themselves are oddly tragic when you stop laughing at them, because Goombas are portrayed as disposable, nameless creatures that exist only to be flattened. Koopas are repeatedly kicked out of their shells and left vulnerable. And the games reward this behavior with cheerful sound effects, turning something that would be horrifying in any other context into lighthearted entertainment, which is funny until you realize how normalized it becomes. One of the darkest retro theories suggests that many enemies in early Mario games are not monsters at all, but citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom transformed by magic, which suddenly turns Mario's joyful, stomping into something morally questionable because saving the kingdom might require destroying the very people he is supposed to protect, and the games never stop to address that contradiction. Bowser himself becomes more intriguing when viewed through this lens, because despite being framed as the ultimate villain, his actions are strangely consistent. His kingdom appears organized, his minions are loyal, and his motivation often revolves around control rather than chaos, making him feel less like a mindless monster and more like a rival. Ruler defending his own domain from an outsider who just keeps coming back. The castles Mario invades are filled with traps, lava pits, and bizarre architecture that makes no sense from a defensive standpoint, unless they were never meant to keep Mario out, but instead designed to test him. Which leads to the unsettling idea that the entire adventure might be a loop, a ritual, or even a form of entertainment within the Mario universe itself. Retro Mario physics add another layer of dark curiosity, because falling into a pit means instant death. Not injury, not rescue, just disappearance. Which raises the uncomfortable question of whether Mario actually dies and respawns repeatedly, or if each life represents a different version of Mario stepping into the same doomed journey, turning the game into a multiverse of plumbers constantly sacrificed for progress. The cheerful music becomes strangely ironic when paired with this interpretation, because it plays no matter how many times Mario fails, suggesting a universe that does not mourn, does not pause, and does not acknowledge loss, which is both funny and unsettling, as if the world itself refuses to take suffering seriously. Even power-ups carry darker implications than they appear to, because mushrooms alter Mario's body instantly. Flowers grant him destructive abilities without consequence, and stars make him temporarily invincible, creating a strange relationship between consumption and power that feels less like magic and more like experimentation, as if Mario is constantly modifying himself to survive increasingly hostile conditions. Princess! Peach's role becomes more troubling the more you think about it, because her repeated kidnappings are treated as routine, her rescue as inevitable, and her lack of agency as normal, creating a loop where danger never truly escalates and resolution never truly changes anything, making the entire story feel less like a quest and more like a performance that resets every time the curtain falls. The Mushroom Kingdom itself feels strangely indifferent to Mario's sacrifices, because after saving the day, he is thanked briefly and then sent away, only to be called back when the cycle resets, which makes the kingdom feel less grateful and more dependent, using Mario as a tool rather than a hero. What makes all of this so fascinating is that none of it was likely intended to be dark. And yet the simplicity of retro game design leaves massive gaps that imagination eagerly fills. turning innocent mechanics into existential questions about identity, repetition, and purpose. The limitations of old hardware forced developers to simplify storytelling, but those simplifications accidentally created a universe where logic feels incomplete, motivations feel hollow, and reality feels strangely artificial, which is exactly why these theories stick, because the games never tell us they are wrong. The humor comes from realizing that millions of players grew up happily participating in this loop without ever questioning it, smiling as they jumped into lava, cheered as enemies vanished, and accepted that saving the princess somehow required breaking everything in between, which feels absurd once you step back and analyze it. Retro Mario games become a mirror of gaming history itself, showing how mechanics come first and meaning follows later, sometimes in ways that are unintentionally disturbing, and that contrast between fun and implication is what makes these games endlessly fascinating decades later. The dark truth behind retro Mario games is not that they are evil or twisted, but that they reveal how easily joy can coexist with unsettling ideas, how repetition can normalize absurdity, and how a simple game about jumping can quietly raise questions about violence, control, and endless cycles. And that is why Mario remains iconic, because beneath the cheerful pixels and catchy tunes lies a universe that is far stranger, funnier, and darker than it ever needed to be, proving that sometimes the most intriguing stories are the ones that were never meant to be stories at all. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the dark, funny, and curious truth behind retro Mario games, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with your favorite Mario theory, and share this video with other gamers who love uncovering the hidden side of classic games.